Oh my goodness gracious. I think I have you both meaning Facebook and YouTube. I sure hope that I do. Hi everybody. Hey folks, Lester here and welcome to Lunch with Longhorn Lester live. This is the only scheduled live that I do every week. And don't forget, we're doing it both from Facebook over here on my phone and YouTube turned this way so you can watch from your TV and from your device and fill your entire screen. I do believe there's a way that, hey, Facebook, I do believe that Facebook can have the option of turning yours sideways. There's a couple of buttons you have to push. I'm going to pour myself an afternoon cocktail if you guys don't mind. The good news is we found out this morning that it takes approximately 6 minutes for the effect of any alcohol to get into your system. So you have 6 minutes of a normal Lester before the booze starts talking. Okay, you have 6 minutes before the booze starts talking, and I'm joking obviously because I don't drink that much booze. I put a little dab of my favorite with my full Dr. Pepper. Today I'm using my fireman's cup. This is the one that I was given from the fire department. I see Jamie over here behind me. This is my fireman's prayer. Can I read it to you? The fireman's prayer. When I am called to duty, God, whenever flames may rage, give me the strength to save a life, whatever be its age. Okay, so man, woman, young, old, black, white, courage is going to get up in there and save that life. Help me embrace a little child before it is too late, or save an older person from the horrors of that fate. Ooh, could you imagine? This is very powerful. This is a really neat prayer. Enable me. Oh, no. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. Enable me to be alert and hear the weakest shout and quickly and efficiently put that fire out. And that's important because think about how scared kids could be, or someone who's elderly who just can't find the vocal strength to scream out and holler for help. I want to feel my calling to give the best of me, to guard my every neighbor and protect their property. And if, according to my fate, I am to lose my life, oh boy, someone is coming up our driveway. Please bless this with your protection. Hand, oh, hand the special people in my life. So protect those special people in his life. Sweetheart, I know your biggest nightmare is coming true right now. I hear someone coming up our driveway. Jamie hates when I leave the gate open because a lot of people take that as an open invite to come up, look around. Now, listen, they're very kind people, but the thing is, they have passed the property a number of times and they have seen the birds, or they've seen the donkeys, they've seen the goats, they've seen the cows, the horses, and what they want to do is drive up and just say hello and introduce themselves. And on one hand, that's very neighborly. It is very, very neighborly. And we are so blessed to be able to pay the blessing forward of the wonderful animals that we've been entrusted and take care of and offer a forever home to. But on the other hand, sometimes you're not dressed to entertain people. You're not dressed to meet people. And I will say the downfall is that some people don't or can't take no for an answer. They can't just shake a hand, say hello, and leave. They want to just spend the entire day here. And there's nothing wrong with that. Thank you to all of the first responders, soldiers, police officers, vets, EMS. I don't know if vets are first responders, but to all of those wonderful people who are so kind. And honestly, they do rush to the call instead of running away from. And that takes a very special person to know that they could put their lives in, well, every time they go to work, or even when they are off duty, they're often they have this inner call that if for some reason they are needed to save a life, then they will do whatever it takes to save that life, be it they're on the clock or even if they're not. So thank you all for joining us. I'm just going to go ahead and address this one question right quick. I don't like doing questions early. I like to wait until the end to do questions because I wanted to like talk and get to, get the feel of what's going on with everybody and see how we're all doing the way real friends do. Real friends don't meet and begin interrogations of each other right away. That's just not very comfortable. But it has popped up a couple of times over on the Facebook where people are saying, I thought you were not doing Facebook anymore. So Facebook has limited Longhorn Lesters on my long content. And I'm still being monetized, but I can't upload any video over 4 or 5 minutes. And you guys know that I'm a long video. Hey, I'm a long-winded guy. What can I say? I'm a long-winded kind of guy. Now, we haven't had the same issues on I'm a Survivor Sanctuary. So all of the videos of essence, what I will say, are going to still be on YouTube, obviously, because they welcome long form. And then Kathy, Angel, Kathy, you're very kind, but I don't feel comfortable taking your money. Please don't do that. Save it for yourself or for a rainy day. But that is very kind of you, Kathy. And your last name is Angel. I don't know if that's your real last name or your call sign, because on YouTube, many people, in fact, do have a call sign. So thank you so very much. But I promise you, we're going to find a way to make our ends meet. And I don't feel comfortable taking your money. I want you to spend your money on you and your family. Or if you don't need it, save it for a rainy day, because rainy days are a part of life, my friends. Thank you. So getting back to what I was saying, and I feel like I'm like like a robot here, just trying to make sure I catch everything. But I am, in fact, coming to you on 2 different devices. I have a Facebook device, which is recording up and down. And then I have a YouTube device, which is recording sideways. And I'm not able to do that using StreamYard. Now, so Longhorn Lesters will only be able to post tiny things like little short videos, reels, they call them. Those are like the little short, cute little thingamajiggies. But there's no way I can upload anything of any length on Longhorn Lesters. But hey, I'm not complaining. I'm not the first guy who's gone through that. I'm actually surprised it lasted as long as it did. There have been a lot of creators who've lost their ability to do that long time ago. And I've always like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And sure enough, if Longhorn Lesters was not finally affected. Now it's time for my first drink. Could you guys join me as we do a cheer to all of our first responders, our firemen, our EMS workers, doctors, EMS. Did I already say EMS? Baby, who are all our first responders? Just give me a whole list. Soldiers, firemen, police officers, EMS, emergency room. Am I forgetting anybody? Paramedics. Jamie's on her lunch break right now from work. You want to come join me? Listen, you could help my ratings a lot. I'm crashing and burning over here, Jamie. I'm crashing and burning. Jamie says, put on another leotard. Boy, did that ever really mess me up. Wow. It was a very kind gesture from Ryan the Roaster. But yes, I did, in fact, put on a leotard and talk about oh my gosh, babe. Teresa Eulenhake, a sweet lady who's been a friend of the page for a very long time. I don't know this for a fact, but she might be one of the originals. I don't know when Teresa come along. She took a compilation of all of Lester in his most quirky and goofy get-ups. And yeah, well, what she says, Lester in all of his glory. And then she made a reel. She made her very own reel, like a Facebook reel. And so what it did was went through Lester as a this, as a that, as a this. Lester wearing his cardboard box to fight Carl. Lester in all of his glory, she calls it. And she made herself a reel. She's the sweetest lady. She wanted to make sure it was okay before she posted it because she didn't want to embarrass me. And I'm like, Teresa, I don't get embarrassed. I'm not easily embarrassed. Nothing embarrasses me. And I guess I'm lucky for that because there have I've done some doozies, y'all. I've done some doozies. Teresa is here now on YouTube. She goes, she came along in 2020. Teresa, that was by far the year that we had the most reach. And it was because of COVID and the shutdown and people couldn't work. Yet they found time for social media. How lucky are we, huh? And so that was the year that our page grew from like 10,000 to over a million. And what a crazy, crazy event was all that COVID and the shutdown and all of the nonsense with the looting and the rioting. It was a horrible year for everybody, I think. But the folks who were making videos, can we please see it on YouTube? Tiffany, Tiffany, I don't know how I could do that. It's not my content. It belongs to Teresa. So you'll have to find Teresa. Teresa, if you want to share your page with everybody and they can go watch that reel on your page, because I wouldn't know how else to share it. And then also, secondly, there is music on it. Teresa says she will try. So Teresa, what you'll have to do is somehow put your I guess your Facebook or your YouTube name so people can try to find you and maybe they can click it that way to watch it. Guys, it's I thought it was funny and I laughed, but by all means, Teresa did her homework and she found me in every ridiculous outfit she could. So I love that, and I love the fact that Teresa has been with us for so long. That's going on 4 years, Teresa. However, there are some who've been around all six, and um, it will be 7 years come October. What month is it now? April. May, June, July, August. So in about another 6 or 7 months, we will be 7 years old. Can you all believe that? 7 years. Um, I've had a couple of people ask me where my boss is at. I told you last week we'd have a special guest. She let me know yesterday that she couldn't make it. She'll be coming Monday instead. So we may end up finding ourselves doing a lunch with Longhorn Lester and his boss of 25 years on Monday. But she is a superintendent. They're in Cleveland schools, and they had a meeting come up. Wow, Michelle on Facebook says she has been here ever since Harvey. Wow, you've been here for it all, then, Michelle. Thank you, and God bless your soul. Mm. Hey, if you are a first responder, would you let us know? If you were one of those folks who worked through COVID and you were not able to stay home because of your profession, please let us know. I'm going to try to read comments back and forth and find out how many of you guys had to brave it and get out during COVID, and then how many of those braved it and got out because human lives depended on you. I would love to know that. Wow, there's a lot of people who are saying they've been around ever since Hurricane Harvey. How blessed am I to be able to hold on to people that long? People in my life don't normally last that long. I'm saying it quietly because Jamie and I are going on 6 years as well. Jamie will also be 7, but not until October. So Jamie and I are just a few months away from 7 years. And they all say there's this thing called the 7 year itch. I'm not saying I'm itching. I'm not itching nowhere, y'all. I'm not itching, okay? So I don't know if she's itching or not. Huh? She says, Jesus, Lester. I think it's funny because when a woman begins to fall out of the relationship, what she normally does is she'll tell her family and she will tell all of her girlfriends, and she might start putting away money, and she might start looking for another place to live, and she will do all of those things and never tell her partner will never know. And then all of a sudden, one day the day when she's finally had enough and everything is in order, that's the day that she and the kids up and go. And so I guess
Just clarify that everything's fine. That's not, you're not like inferring things. Jeez.
you'll have to walk over and say that yourself, babe, because I can't speak for you. But men, on the other hand, we're not that calculated. We will sometimes, if things are not going the right way, sometimes men will just up and go and then try to figure it all out. Put your head on my shoulder.
You see how dirty I am, right?
Whisper sweet things to me.
Listen, I ain't leaving.
You know, this woman has not slept in the same bed as me in over a week because
you choose to go to the RV.
I need to be with Sadie. She needs me. Them Longhorns need me over there. Yeah.
Tell them the real reason why you're going over there. The bed's just so comfy.
The bed is very comfy.
And the pillows are better. I'm like, they're the
pillows,
same.
no. The bed is comfy and the pillows are awesome. But I do miss you. And then I told her last night, I said, I woke up in the morning, it was 50 degrees inside the RV. And normally when I'm cold here and it's 50 degrees, I just turn my back and squeeze up to her.
He little spoons it.
So she can like hug me.
He didn't have anybody to be the big spoon today. So this is what you get. Big spoon right here.
I'm not that bad, am I? So sometimes when it's cold in the RV or here at the house and I need to warm up and the 2 or the 3 blankets, whatever we have, are not enough, then I will just squeeze up close to Jamie and make her hug me. Mm-hmm. And that helps me get nice and warm and toasty. Yeah. And then I sleep good. But last night, in the nights that she's not been here,
he didn't have anybody to snuggle him. I distinctly say every night when he's out, when he's like, well, I guess I'm going to go to bed, and he gets in his truck and drives away. I'm like, are you really sure that you have to go? Are you sure? And he's like, Sadie needs me.
Sadie does need me. We have a routine. Now, I always ask Jamie, will you come with me? Will you come with me? But 9 times out of 10, if it's not the weekend, she has to work the next morning early.
That's the thing is, I have to work at 8 o'clock. Lester is not getting up and going live and being back home by 8 o'clock.
Hold on. So I can wake up by that time, but I am enjoying my morning drive about with the Longhorns. And anyone that witnessed this morning's routine can vouch for what I'm about to tell you. Every single Longhorn, from the biggest of bulls to the youngest of calves, all walked up one at a time to look at me in the eye and spend quality time. I'm sorry, but you've never walked up to me and looked me in the eye and just put your head down. And
how cold were you?
50. It was 50 degrees when I had to finally get up and turn on the heater.
So not cold enough to miss that look from the Longhorns.
No. That was once I woke up finally. That was once I finally got up and got going. But what I'm saying is I would hate to have to get up, jump in the truck, leave out of there, and miss my Longhorn time. And miss Sadie.
And there you have it.
Well,
the rest of the story. Isn't that the name of that show?
And now you've heard the rest of the story, Paul Harvey.
Yeah. I got 10 minutes before I got to be back to work. Sorry.
My boss was not able to join me today, but she is going to come out Monday and spend the day with me. And I'm going to have a chance to show her both of the properties because she, in fact, has not been able to see Longhorn Lester's or J&L. She has been to the sanctuary many times. Her name is Rebecca Sanford. And yes, she's my boss, Dr. Rebecca Sanford. She's a doctor of education. So I worked for her for so many years. And I just think that I'm hoping you guys will all have your fun questions ready to go. And maybe you can tell her or ask her some things about me that you'd like to know as Lester on the side that you've never seen as the school teacher, Lester. We have some fun stories. We've been together for a long time. And so I love her as a human. She's just a wonderful lady. She's been so good to me as a boss. So, You're all being very kind in the comments, and thank you so very much. Many of you guys remember Paul Harvey. I've listened to talk radio the last several years, and for a while there would be at a certain hour they would have the Paul Harvey. I don't know this for a fact, but I do think he might be dead now. I think he may have already passed on. How come Lester doesn't spoon with Sadie? Sadie does not want to sleep inside. She wants to come inside and eat and then go right back out with her cow friends. So, mhm. um, there's no way we could ever live at the JL because we have horses here. We have the birds, we have the goats, and this is our home. We love the peace, the quiet, the solitude that we get here at Longhorn Lester's. And you don't get that same peace and quiet at either of the other two properties, friends. Longhorn Lester's is far enough off the road, and we only have neighbors on two sides of us. The back is the river and miles of woods. And so there's just something very joyous about being here at this particular property. And the peace and solitude is something that I wouldn't trade for anything. Do I ever wish that it was more land here so I could keep all the animals together? Yes, absolutely. Excuse me. Our ridge has not washed away. Our ridge is fine. We are trying to keep the goats off of it so as we can have some, more green to kind of dig into the roots. And we would like that to happen. But for the meantime, our goats are in the pastures and they're doing wonderful. And all of the birds are doing great. We got Carl separated yesterday, so he's off by himself now. But our ridge did not wash away to answer that question. Mm. So Paul Harvey did pass away in 2009 at 90 years old, says Sue. Sue, thank you so much for checking on that for all of us. But Paul Harvey was amazing. He had a voice, not exactly like Morgan Freeman, but there are some people who have that voice, y'all. And Paul Harvey, he absolutely had that voice. And he told Christmas stories. He told so many informational stories. It was just amazing. Send Jamie a Longhorn Lester costume. Send Dan and Jamie a costume. Problem solved. I don't know. Anywho, there are also people who are saying they are talk radio junkies. Joy, I enjoy talk radio. What I don't like is political talk radio. It's interesting to me, though, when you listen to political talk radio, how no matter what this side says, that side is having a complete different perspective of maybe the same story. And then it's oftentimes you hear complete different news depending on what story you hear. But I like talk radio. I listen to a lot of Saturday morning radio shows where they're podcast of people for different genres. Both of our vehicles, Jamie's car and my car, both have the Sirius satellite radio. So you can pretty much listen to whatever you want to listen to. So, yes, Joe Rogan, Coast to Coast, NPR. Madeline says, "How can she get the have anxiety ringtone? I have anxiety, and you're not making it better." I don't know if I can play that right now because I'm actually using my phone to record over here on the YouTube or the Facebook channel. So sorry, I would play that for y'all otherwise. Anyway, um, as far as happenings around everything, don't forget that tomorrow, being Saturday, is a huge day for our alpaca. We're going to have Miss Tina come out and she's going to shear all four of our wonderful babies. I don't know who we're going to catch first, who will be last. Yes, Mary says, Lester, I remember when you used to be a teacher and you had a special handshake that you would do with your students every morning. That is true. There are tons of videos of that, me doing the special handshake with my students. That was always a lot of fun. What we would do, and I don't mean to get off the alpaca issue, but we would, well, real fast, the alpacas. Miss Tina will come out. She has a special contraption where she can not only hold the alpaca, but she will flip them over on their side. And we'll all be there to help. I've already contacted that dear man, Uriel, and he's going to come by and help us for a few extra dollars. I'm sure we'll have Ellie and Megan there. And then we're going to get all the alpacas shorn. We're going to get them shorn. And then afterwards, we will be loading up a couple of alpaca to bring back here to Longhorn Lester's to run with our goats. We'll be leaving 2 alpaca over there to run with Ellie and Megan's goats. And so we're excited about that. The alpacas will have a haircut, and it's time for one, y'all. It's been pretty dark, pretty warm, and we need those alpacas to have some of that haircut off of them. We're also going to ask Miss Tina if she'll go ahead and shear Angel. That's the little rescue sheep, the ram that belongs to Ellie and Megan. And she will, yes, thank you, Jane. Lester has says plenty of time that he does not support either political party. He doesn't even like talking politics. I do not. I do not. I do not. I will talk common sense with anybody who will listen. But common sense, unfortunately, sometimes will cross the line with different political parties. And so it's very hard, y'all. It's really difficult to ever talk common sense because you're going to offend somebody who doesn't believe in common sense. And political parties do not believe in common sense. They don't. They will oppose each other no matter what. The Democrats and the Republicans are like CVS and Walgreens. No matter what, when you have one pop up, you will have the other, and they're going to be at each other like this over here. Walgreens and CVS are going to always go just like that. And there ain't no difference in political parties. I think that they are paid to oppose each other. Let's build a wall. Let's tear it down. Let's open the borders. Let's close and let nobody in. Let's send money to the Ukraine. Don't you send them a darn penny. Let's send money, let's have a space force. I mean, guys, listen, I don't even know who stands for who anymore. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. But wouldn't that be a horrible, horrible line of work to be in where you are forced to say and vote and speak on things that you don't believe in? Because I don't even want to think that all of these senators and all of these legislators in the House really believe the agendas that they have to push. I don't believe that for a minute, because I think there are very brilliant people in our government, just brilliant. And I don't believe that they really, truly believe what they're trying to sell to us. I don't. And then, of course, they're forced to vote based on their constituents. And I just don't get it, y'all. It makes no common sense to me whatsoever. So I do jump all over the place when it comes to the politics, but that's my whole point. I follow what I feel in my heart and in my head is a common sense approach. And that's what I think that we've lost, is just common sense, y'all. I made a funny joke / analogy recently that I don't think anyone got my humor. But we were talking about if Jamie and I came out one day and just opened all of the gates and let all of the animals run free. Just come out here and just open the gates and let all the animals run free and just see, would that be better for our farm, or would that be a horrible thing for our farm? And the unanimous was what a horrible mistake that would be, to allow all these animals to run free together. Because, like you were saying, you would have some of your bullies who would take away from those who were less unfortunate. You would have some animals be pushed away. You would have some being ignored. You would have some create havoc and chaos and disarray. You would have others who would get lost in all of that shuffle. And my joke about that was a analogy to the southern border, how with borders being wide open, saying, come one, come all, we don't care who you are, just come on in. It's not that I'm associating human beings from all over the world with animals. I'm associating the fact that there are different characteristics that people display. And there are those that would take from others. There are those who would harm others. And that scares me that we don't have any kind of a system in place. I know that some of y'all get it, but most people did not. They didn't know what that, they didn't know what I was talking about. And that's one more of my downfalls. And then, so then again, here we go. Now, so Lester's not siding with the Republicans. I'm siding with common sense. You tell me what makes sense without being Democrat or Republican or independent or anything else, to walk out and open those gates and let all animals run free makes no common sense. None. So I don't even have to associate that with a political party. Any political party who says open the gates, let them all run together, to me makes no common sense. And then you see the veterans and those that are homeless and those that are unfortunate and those that need government services not get those services because our services are being given to people who are not even citizens. They don't share the same values that we have. They don't believe in the founding fathers. They don't believe in our Constitution. They've never been raised, not a day, to understand the American way of life and how we operate here in this country. And yet, we'll give you money. We'll give you whatever you need. I didn't say anything about a party. You're the ones who know which party belongs to who. So Kathy says, I vote for Carl to go to the border. Yes, Kathy, Carl could be amazing border patrol. Who needs barbed wire when you have Carl? Yes, and then Miss Angela says, and how dare we let people vote if they do not know our American way of life? And isn't that the most, that isn't that the biggest and the most, that's the biggest joke ever. You take someone that was raised in any country around the world, China, Argentina, anywhere in Central America, any of the African nations, they come to America to have a better life. That's great. We want them to have a better life. But let them vote on day one? What are they going to vote for? They don't know. They don't know. So it's really, really scary, my friends. It's just really, really scary what we've become. But here we are, even from a guy who doesn't talk politics, we're making this into a political thing because the voice of common sense speaks truth, yet some people do not want and cannot handle truth. So I don't know. Um, well, in the UK, we have no problem with your politics. Oh my goodness. Don't get me going on the UK and Canada. And I think that you guys are about as whacked up as we are. You are. I think that the UK and Canada, and those are only the two countries that I do keep up with. I'm afraid that you're as messed up as the rest of the world. We are all dying and going to hell. Not literally, hopefully, but our countries are all falling apart because of the fact, whatever. Anywho, where were we? So the alpacas will be sheared tomorrow, and they're going to be a little bit of a split up and divided up, and we're going to have alpacas going to different properties. We will also maybe, oh, this is a big maybe, be bringing Starla, my sweet Starla, back over here. But Jamie's afraid that if we bring Starla over here, what if she starts getting out again? And if she's getting out, she's going to go right to the greenhouse, right to the garden, and then we're all in trouble. So we don't want to have to move Starla back and forth and back and forth. but I love her. She's like my special girl, and she loves me, and I don't see her enough as what I used to. And I miss her, y'all. I miss her, and I want to have her closer to me. But what can you do? Liz says, Lester, it looks like you've lost some weight. Please take care of yourself. I will say that I've been quite stressed lately, Liz. Um, we've always known that social media was an unknown. Social media has not been around for as long as what we sometimes forget. It's only been around for a few years. And so we never knew what to expect out of social media. And I quit my job so that I could devote full time to social media. And I would say that it's been very successful and we've been very good at what we do. But now social media is slowly making a transition. It's changing, and that has put us at a disadvantage. And I'm a little bit stressed about that. I'm stressed about the fact that I don't know exactly what I need to do and how to do to keep up with, quote unquote, the algorithms. And so I need to be very careful. Guys, give me one moment, please. Just give me one moment. I promise I'll be right back. I will leave you with this fireman's prayer. I need to go do one thing. Jamie is on my lawnmower, and I hear her slinging rocks, and I do not want her to break a truck window. Did y'all have a chance to read the prayer while I was gone? Isn't that just a beautiful cup? Mm. So Jamie's working around her greenhouse during her lunch hour, and it's my own fault for not getting the mowing done that she wanted to have done. So, for the people that are saying they thought Lester had given up on social media with Facebook, guys, I've already said it once. I'm not. I've. I'm not allowed to post long video content on Longhorn Lester's. So that's why you don't see me on Longhorn Lester's posting long videos. As of right now, we're still good with I'm a Survivor Sanctuary, and we're going to hope that'll hold out as long as possible. Thanks, sweetie. I told her to move my truck. So you can mow all you want to, but please move my truck. I could hear rocks slinging. We got some gravel poured around her greenhouse, and she wants to make it look nice and pretty, but we can't have rocks being slung all over the place because they will break windows. I remember that Laramie got his work truck. Laramie, that's Brienne's husband, drives a fleet truck for his work. And my brother Dan, on the very first day that Laramie brought that truck home, he was out mowing and he sent a rock and it hit Laramie's windshield and cracked it. And so that was horrible. And I don't know how Laramie explained that to his boss. But rocks can really mess up the blades to your lawnmower. They can also sling rocks into your window and your windshields. They can ding up your vehicles. She looks annoyed at me for having to do that, but that's just one thing that I would always do is look around where I'm going to be mowing. And then I also mow where it always slings rocks away from the vehicles. But hey, Jamie's Jamie. You can't really tell her too much. So where were we? Where were we? I think I don't even know where we had left off at. But no, there is still going to be short things on my Facebook. I'm not letting the page die. I'm just not going to. I wanted everyone to be aware that if you want long videos, then you're not going to find them on Facebook. They're taking that ability away. And if you have videos and creators that you still watch that are on Facebook making long videos, mark your calendar today and just find out how long it takes them to stop making their long videos. And then the last thing I'll say about that, and I'm not talking about Facebook today. I'm not talking about the platforms. I'm not. For everybody who says, why don't you take your long video from the YouTube and put it in the comments on the Facebook so we can find it easier? And I say no, because I know something that you don't know. I know something those creators don't know, that when somebody goes to Facebook and they see a link that goes to YouTube, if they click that link, then in the fine print, they are leaving Facebook to go to YouTube. And so any revenue that's generated on that video is split in half, half to YouTube. And guess where the other half goes? To Facebook. The creator gets none of that. So for our friends at Cog Hill, for Brienne, and for so many other creators who have not learned that, we're blessed to have us a rep who tells us that when you put a link on Facebook that sends somebody over to YouTube and they watch that video, it might be easy for you all, but all you're doing is giving half of the ad revenue to YouTube because that's the platform, and you're giving the other half to Facebook because they sent you there. And so why would anyone want to give your money to Facebook and YouTube when in fact it was the creativity, the work, the hard work many times that went into making that video? And then someone says, all you do is talk about money. Well, oh my gosh, all I do is talk about money. All I do is talk about money. Well, we could talk about 150 farm animals and vet care. Would you rather talk about vet care? That's not money. We could talk about barns that we've created for our farm animals, but that also is talking about money that it required. We could talk about the facilities, the grass, the fertilizer, the hay. We could talk all day about those animals if you want to, but sometimes you forget that all those animals do require money. Now, what I'm not going to do is ask you for money. Look at me. Look at me. Can y'all see me? Can y'all both see me? I don't want your money. Lester does not want your money. Lester does want advertiser money. I want money from Gatorade. I want money from Tractor Supply. I want money from the people who advertise. All that political money that Trump and Biden raised, I want some of that money. I do. That's the money that I want. That's the money that I will use to construct new buildings, to paint fencing, to build greenhouses, or to fix my damaged what do you call that thing? The spillway. We need money. It takes money to run a farm, friends. It takes, gosh darn it. I think she's hitting every rock out there. It takes money, friends. So I don't want your money. I don't want your money. The way I get paid is by advertisers on my videos. So I hate you on YouTube. I'm the same. Ouch! Ouch! It hurts on both YouTube and Facebook. Both platforms hurt me. How goofy is that? So, no, absolutely. We do not want to make the channels about money, but we're not going to go to the extremes. Okay, that's ridiculous. That's not even cool anymore. I don't want to go out there and scold her because y'all are saying, Lester, it's your job. You should be on that mower. Do y'all not hear that? She's literally running over every rock. I think we should raise the blade up a lot and we wouldn't be hitting those rocks. The grass might be a little bit taller, but we could save the blade and we could also save the windows and all the damage those rocks are causing. But no, friends, I don't know the future of Facebook and YouTube. I don't know. And this could be the end. And I've always said that this could be the end. And if it is, then it is. And you don't never know what's one day holds over the next. But absolutely, we're going to try to keep doing what we can do to make you all happy, because we're very happy and we're blessed. So I don't even know where that came from or where that was going. I have no idea. So, all right. Well, at this point of the video, I think that I have gone down my entire list of things I wanted to talk about. And now I will be more than happy to answer your questions. So, I'm just looking for questions. You're going to need a new blade when she's done. Yes, I probably will. Let's not talk about Facebook and YouTube, y'all. Let's not talk about them. Let's just not even talk about it. You find your happy place, and this is not your happy place, then by all means find it. Any updates on Sweet Ivy? This is something coming from our sweet Vanessa Marie. Vanessa, yes, Ivy is out in the big pasture and living her best life. Her leg and her foot with the little summer sores has healed up nicely. They're still there. You can see them. But what I'm going to do is walk over whenever I'm done here. I'll take my video camera and I will go make an Ivy/Beverly video, and it will be focused on her. Okay, only on her. And so I will play that video either this afternoon or tomorrow. Okay, I promise. Oh my gosh. A little bit of courtesy. Y'all, I don't know if Jamie's mad at me for something. Maybe what I said earlier was mean. Was what I said mean, and now she's trying to get back at me with the mower? I don't know. So the erosion repair at the spillway. So don't worry. We had a fella come out yesterday and have a look at it. He's the owner of Victory Dirt, and that seems to be our most trusted source in dirt repair, dirt work. As of right now, they are amazing. They've not let us down. And so they're going to come out and they're going to do a fantastic job. I'm already sure of it. They will start that work on Tuesday. They will start that work on Tuesday. I feel like the price that he offered in his quote was fair. It was less than what I feared. And so, in saying so, I'm hoping they'll do a quality job, and we'll have that all fixed and repaired by the end of Tuesday, weather permitting. Weather permitting. Have you called the pond people to fix? Yes. So I just answered that question. Courtney did a wonderful job with Rita. Will you have her work with Rita more? The answer is no. Rita is a Lester and Jamie project, and we will absolutely take advice from Rick and Courtney, but we're not going to be sending our horses off to camp to have them worked on. But thank you. I love Rita, and Rita loves me. Rita, now I'm going to tell you guys something you're not going to like. So if you want to hear something you're not going to like, you might want to pretend to hold your ears. But Rita loves me the same way that Christmas loves me. When we first got Christmas off the street as a rescue, she wanted nothing to do with me. Nothing. She could, she was scared of men. She was scared of me, and she wanted nothing to do with me. Many of y'all remember the video. My God, this is bothering me so bad. Many of y'all remember right over here one day when I was trying to take Christmas for a walk, and I was terrified of her because she did not want to be close to me. But something at some point happened. We found some kind of a mutual connection, and now Christmas will not leave my side. She loves me more than I think she's ever loved in her lifetime. And Jamie's wonderful with her. Jamie babied her and got her to assimilate to our lifestyle. But now Christmas loves me more than anything, any of our other dogs. Christmas just needs me. I am the reason that she takes her breath every day. And so, what you don't know, some of y'all might be able to see it if you've watched the videos, but Rita loves me, y'all. I have become Rita's, and Rita has become mine. And even though we can say that's Jamie's horse, and we can say that Jamie's the horse person, and we can say that Jamie is this and Jamie's that. And in fact, all of that is true. Rita loves me. Rita chooses me. And in saying so, I'm not going to send Rita off with anybody else. Um, I'm not going to send Rita off with anybody else. Please go ask her to raise the blades. She's an adult. She can handle it. I think the mower just turned off, so I think that she's finished. But what I will do is I'll just make sure that I have it mowed for her next time. Rita, I don't know how long you all will be around, but if you stick around long enough and give us enough time, Rita is going to be turned, she's going to convert like a metamorphosis, and she will become our best horse. And in all of that process, we will have a lot of people to thank, those who have worked with her, those who have taught us how to work with her, those of you who've given good, positive criticism, but in the respectful way, and along with the other folks who've come by to do things with Rita. But what we noticed from Rita when she lunged with Courtney was nothing different than when she lunges with me. Rita is young and feisty and a firecracker. And I believe that Courtney even said in her video title was the feistiest unicorn I've ever had to try to lunge, because it was not easy for Courtney. And you take Courtney, who's been working with horses for her entire life, y'all, raised in a barn with other horsemen and horse people. And so she knows her way around horses better than anyone that I know personally. And then she's a wonderful girl who's done stuff with Brienne's horses and all of that stuff. But Rita's mine, and I love her, and I'm going to work with her, and I'm going to teach her, and she and I will understand each other. We are already have a connection, and you can laugh if you want to laugh, but the emotions that I feel, they go right down that lead rope into Rita, and she feels my emotions. Yes, she feels my fear, and she feels my insecurity, and she is beginning to understand that it's kind of a game, but she also knows that no means no, and there's nobody else that she wants to be with than me. And so, like it or not, be as angry as you want to be, I'm not going to send her to camp to be swatted and pow-powed and yanked around on. Instead, I'm going to continue to listen to what Mr. Rick Gore, and Courtney, and Uriel, and other people who have worked with horses. A whole lot of you who I recognize names share all kinds of information. And we're going to continue working. And at some point, like I said, at some point, if you stick around long enough, there's going to come a beautiful day when you're going to watch me and Rita being inseparable. That's right. Lester, who's not really a horse person, has found a little bit of a love for Rita, who I thought might be unlovable. So, yes, if you want to say that I'm going to ruin her, then by all means, you can say whatever you want to say. It's not going to stop you from saying it. I would like you to say it a little bit nicer if you could, but to each his own if that's your way of talking to people. So we really can't use the lunging pin right now because we lost a lot of our dirt during that last rainstorm. And so we're going to have to. Jackie says, Rita is probably your heart horse, my heart horse. I've always kind of said that Voodoo was mine. more so than Jamie's because Voodoo's always really liked and worked well with me. And so I don't know. If it's true though that a horse or an animal chooses their person, then Rita has chosen me. Now you can say, well, yeah, she chose you because you're a pushover. Yeah, she chose you because you scream like a schoolgirl. Yeah, she chose you because you run from her. Yeah, she chose you because you won't swat her. say say what you want, but this is I'm going to tell y'all right now. Mark my words. This will be the day that you remember that Lester told you, careful what you say, because you'll be eating crow. I see a difference in Rita every single day, an improvement in Rita. And if I can see it, and I'm the one who spends hours and hours around the animals, maybe you can't from your 3 minutes that you spend with Rita every day or every other day or once a week, but I see it. And so we have a wonderful thing going. Have you not noticed me in the stall with Rita, working with her, brushing her, feeding her in the stall? Not with her tied up, not with her face pulled tight against the post. No, just standing in the stall. She stopped swat. She stopped biting at me as much. She stopped kicking at me. And I love her. And y'all, if you love something, you do what you can. Now, there may be some people who say, you're going to love her to death, Lester, literally. Well, I'm not going to love her to death, y'all. I do have to keep my head on a swivel. I understand that. She's a child. She will have good days and bad days, as all of our kids have. And she'll have to be disciplined at times. And we'll try to do that in the right way, but in a loving way, but in a way that it's imperative that she not do certain habits. And we're going to do this. But at the end of the day, and the end of the day may be years from now, but there'll come a time when you will watch me get on that horse's back, and this old man will get up on her, and she's going to give me the most beautiful ride across these pastures. We will one day take her into our trailer and drive her to the JL, and she will give me the most beautiful rides across the JL pastures. We'll take her to the sanctuary, and she'll ride me across our hayfields. And I dream of those days. I love her, and she's not going anywhere. And when all of that is said and done, I will thank all of you for helping me and believing in me to make that happen. And in the meantime, it's just going to continue to be a work in progress. Okay. Positive reinforcement. I'm looking for more questions. I'm not trying to keep you and bore you. I am just looking for more questions. Um, what will you do with that back pasture at I'm a Survivor, the one I bought from my aunt? So I gave my dad and my brother first dibs on that back pasture. Um, I've also offered that pasture, the clean pasture with the pond, to Brienne if she needs it for her horses, because in fact, the pasture there with Billy and Granny, there's no grass. There's not enough grass. Bree does not mind letting her horses dry lot and sustain themselves on hay for the time being until she can get better grass. My worry with letting Jake use that pasture is nothing against Jake. It's mostly against the fact that Jake can't say no to other animals, which is a quality as much as it is a curse. Jake will accept more and more and more animals. And if Jake finds himself with access to another 5 or 10 acres, then I'm afraid Jake will increase his animal herd another 5 or 10 animals. And if the day ever comes when we, in fact, need our pasture back for drought or for some type of situation, but I can't move Jake off of it because he's already built up enough animals to where he has to have it, then we're going to be in quite the pickle. And that would put Jake in a bad situation as well as ourselves. So I think that there would have to be some kind of an underwritten rule that says, yes, there's 11 acres over there that we're not going to be using, that anyone is welcome to use, But here comes the big but it has to come with stipulations. And all of you and all of their people will have to know that if times ever get tight and we end up having to move a cow or a horse or a donkey or some animal back because of a grass situation, those are still Lester's pastures. And you can't have that person get angry and pout and fuss and curse and scream and holler and cry about poor me, poor me, poor me. I've told both Jake and I've told Brienne that now that they're making good money on YouTube, they should do what Lester did and start trying to invest their money in a piece of property that can accommodate all of their needs. Because, in fact, the beautiful property at the sanctuary is not enough for everybody. It's not. You have Jake with animals, you have Ellie with animals, you have Brienne with animals, you have my mom and dad with their animals. You have Sister Kim with animals. You have Daniel and Lou with animals. Did I already say Daniel and Lou? And so everybody has their own animals, and there's only so much pasture land. So, yes, the 11 acres needs to be eaten. Like I already said, Mandy, it was offered to my dad. It was offered to Uncle Dan. It was offered to Brienne, with the understanding that if I need that property back, then in a day's time, they'll have to move their animals off to let my animals back. But my worry with my nephew Jake is only the fact that Jake can't say no. And if Jake has more property, then he'll more than likely fill it up with more animals. And that scares me because I would hate to be responsible for animals starving or going without because there's not enough grass to graze them on. Gwyneth says Pawpaw wants his animals where he can see them. I understand that. That makes perfect sense. So I'm guys, I'm at the point of the video where I'm looking for questions. If you have a question, that's great. I don't want to keep you all much longer. I know I've already spent an hour of your time. Here's a suggestion from Michelle that I just use that 11 acres as a hayfield. That might be a great idea eventually, but right now it's not ready. Right now it's only a year from having it clear cut, and it will normally take 5 or 10 years of constantly cutting and cutting and cutting to get all of the good grass to grow and the weedy stuff to die on out. Where has Mr. Kenny been? I'm not real sure. I don't talk to Kenny a whole lot. I saw Mr. Kenny last week at the fish fry here in Livingston. Are you all right, Lester? Elizabeth Riddle, why would you say that? Oh, God, what do you know that Elizabeth says? Are you all right, Lester? What's wrong with me? What? Elizabeth, elaborate. What's wrong? You're scaring me. What do y'all see? Did I have a stroke and not even know it? What about the land that you're leasing beside Longhorn Lester? We're not leasing any land. That fella, and that was besides the J&L property. He backed out. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to sell it upright, and he wants a way lot more money than it's worth. He wanted double for his 20 acres what we bought the 50 acres. And I asked him why he was asking so much. And he said that because for future development, it could be sold as commercial property. And he's probably right. He's probably right. I think at some point with the development of the highway, at some point that might be commercial property, but I'm not going to pay commercial property prices for just a pasture. That wouldn't be wise. That's not good investment. Lester, if you move your bulls to the hay field to prevent the fence issues, will you also have to move the big barn? Man, could y'all imagine what a waste that big barn would be sitting there for nothing? No, I wouldn't do that. What I would do if it's only 3 bulls is I would build a structure. I would do it myself, build a structure big enough to accommodate 3 bulls. But what I would have to do is build 3 individual sections where each bull would have their own place to go, because the bulls will not share with other bulls the same way they do with the cows. I thought you were going to lease property next to Longhorn Lester's. So if you mean Mr. Pete and Miss Terry over here, no, that wasn't going to work out because they had a very weird shaped pasture and their driveway crisscrossed it. And so it would require a whole lot of crazy fencing and not enough grass to accommodate what we needed. So that's not going to happen. Yes, Madeline says, so you're going to build more like loafing sheds. I would. There's one huge tree in that pasture. Running water line would be easy. So someone is screaming about the river erosion, and they say, sorry for repeating myself. Diane, I've already answered that question early on, Diane. At the beginning of the live, I answered all of the erosion issues. But Mr. Pete and Miss Terry's driveway cuts at a slant across their property like a tic-tac-toe. And unfortunately, it would require fencing on this side and fencing on that side, or 2 double gates. And it was just way too much work and too much money for a little piece of property that wouldn't do us much good. Having little Gary fixed is still going to be a while. I'm not upset, Diane. I'm just letting you know that I've already talked about that. The ants are gone. From what we can tell, there's no more ant issues, not on the hill. I will not put up a DMZ at the JL property. I'd rather just move the bulls to the hayfield and give them a whole lot of separation, and then possibly making the larger 13-acre pasture be the one we use for a hayfield. It'd be the exact same difference, except for the bulls would have a little bit less, but we would, and they wouldn't have a pond. I hate that, but getting a pond on that other property might be something in the future, but a water trough and a couple of loafing sheds, and we could solve that problem that fast. When is Tilly going to have her babies? Tilly already had babies. Oh, was that a joke? Why don't you ride Voodoo and Storm? They're both saddle broke. Yes, Voodoo and Storm are both saddle broke. So is Bucky's. And I have ridden all 3. But I just don't know if you understand this, but Voodoo has tossed me off of his back twice, and it didn't feel good, a man my age, to be thrown off the back of Voodoo. So there may come a time whenever I feel like Voodoo's having a great day, and I'll get back on his back. Storm is not my horse. I don't mind riding her just on occasion, but she's just a smaller horse. She's heavy, but small. And I feel like I'm a clown at a circus. Have y'all seen, not a clown, a monkey? I feel like a monkey at a circus riding a little pony or a little dog. That's how I feel. I may not look that way, but that's how I feel. And so I feel like she's just too small for me. And then I feel like Bucky's, even though Uriel likes to ride Bucky's, I don't, because I see Bucky trip a lot. He can't. Okay, I have to be very careful when I say this, but Bucky's doesn't have 20/20 vision. Okay, and so he stumbles a lot when he's walking, and I don't want him to stumble with me on his back and risk some kind of a spinal injury. I'm not scared of Bucky's. I'm not scared of Stormy. I'm a little bit scared of Voodoo, and I'm terrified of Rita, just so y'all know. But I will get there with Rita, I promise. All right. Can Waylon's offspring be registered? Absolutely. Both Waylon's mom and dad are registered, even though they never carried through with their paperwork on Waylon. I can do that with a matter of just sitting down and sending the paperwork in. They'll do a little bit of background research, and that will be easy enough. And so, yes, and it's important to us to have our Longhorns registered so that we can guarantee them to never be auctioned off or sent to slaughter in case we can't keep them all. And everyone knows that if we ever have any males, any more bulls, we will love them. We will give them names, but we will have to eventually send them off the same way we did for Santoro. All right. So, Jody Robertson says, how is Voodoo doing? And then Jody Robertson says again, he hasn't answered my question. Miss Jody, I love you. I don't know you, but I love you anyway. Jody Robertson on Facebook. But Jody, there are 1,400 people watching on YouTube, and there's another 1,400 watching on Facebook. And when you combine all those people, there's a lot of comments, and I can't always keep up with all of them. So I'm not ignoring you. I don't focus and pay. There's no kind of preferential treatment here. Voodoo's doing great. He does take a tummy pill because his tummy doesn't digest the grass the same way that the other horses do. But that is more of Jamie's expertise than it is mine. But I'm not trying to ignore you or Lana or Diana or anyone else. For those who think I'm ignoring you, I am not. I promise you. I will not be adding any more Longhorns females to Tex. We will wait and see our offspring from Waylon, and whatever Waylon can produce as offspring will eventually become the sister wives to Tex, and vice versa. Whatever Tex and his females produce as far as females will become sister wives to Waylon. And don't forget that all of that is all working into my eventual source of income when social media does play out. And I do believe at some point it will. We are already watching it, y'all. We're watching it happen in front of our very eyes. Whenever social media does eventually play out, my source of income will be to go into Longhorn ranching, which will include selling all of the bulls to other Longhorn registered owners so they can all become herd bulls to their very own herds. And then we will keep as many females as I can. But at some point, if we find ourselves at a capacity, then we'll have to stop that as well. It really does take 25 females to make Longhorns profitable and to be able to make a living on. Anything less than 25, you're never going to come out even. And so for the amount of money it costs for hay and fertilizer and then your feeds and other things, it takes about 25 females to make any cow herd profitable. And so I do want to work up to 25. I think I have the pasture to do that. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. Please, Lord, don't strike me for that. But with no droughts, we should be fine running 25 head of females eventually. And that will give you a combination of bulls and heifers every year that you'll work with. So I guess the last thing that I'll talk about, and because I know I'm past my hour, and this is once again, it's one of the most touchy and difficult subjects to talk about because it involves money, and people hate to talk about money. I understand money, finances, cars, taxes, groceries, gasoline, everything costs a lot, a whole lot. And so I forgot where it went. The exact comment, and it's already long past me now, was if you never talk about money, why do you take supporter money from I'm a Survivor? So I'm a Survivor Sanctuary was the only account we ever set up for a supporter group, an optional supporter group. Optional, meaning that for those people that always ask, what can they do? What can they do? What can they do? We said, instead of sending a bunch of gifts that may or may not be able to be used, the $2.49 a month was, in our opinion, not taking hardly anything away from you, but the accumulation of those monies could do a ton for the sanctuary. And so what we did, and I'm going to forget a lot, so you supporters will have to help me on this, please. We started the supporter button back around 2020, and we began to save that money. And once we acquired enough in our savings for the nonprofit, we bought the pond, and then we got a second pond, and then we got a barn, and then we got a well house, an actual water well to give us additional water. We used the supporter money to fix the driveway whenever the flood last year washed out my driveway. We had no way to get back and forth to the property. We had to fix that, and I was blessed to ask the supporters, could I use that money? And they said yes. We buy fertilizer, we buy hay, we buy feeds, and we pay for vet care. So Lester takes no money from the I'm a Survivor Sanctuary, not a penny. That all goes to animals. But what happened was, whenever I had a wish, a dream come true, and my wish slash dream come true was the day that, yes, $2.49 was the absolute lowest Facebook would allow. We didn't ask for a penny more than that. But the day that my son and his fiance Megan came to us and said, Dad, we'd like to go ahead and start working and becoming more of a presence here at the sanctuary, that was the day my heart melted to know that my son wanted to actually follow along in his dad's footsteps. And you would not believe the tears of joy that I cried that day. I'm about to cry them again right now, knowing that my son, my oldest son, was actually wanting to help run the farm. And so Jamie and I talked long and hard about it. And we said, you know what? We could give Ellie and Megan the barn dominium, but we knew they were planning on getting married and having a family. And we says, why should we keep the bigger house, the double wide, the mobile home? Why should we keep our mobile home if in fact we have this beautiful apartment over here at Longhorn Lester's? And so I made the announcement as a very proud father. I came on and I made an announcement as a very proud father that my son would now be a full-time caretaker of the sanctuary. And how sad, I'll just say sad, for lack of a better word, how sad that the number of supporters dropped us that day. They dropped our page, and many supporters didn't just drop. They would take time to send an email saying, I'm not going to support a kid, or I'm not going to support someone who only wants to take care of rabbits and cats and goats. And I had to sit there and read through hundreds, maybe even thousands of emails about the fall, the hurt, the shame of me giving my son and his fiance a start. I'm getting emotional, and I don't mean to be, because my son is the most loving man. My son is the most loving and caring man, the best partner to his fiance. He's a Christian man who tries so hard to do what's right in the face of God and Jesus. And he has had to endure so much hate, just pure hate, from people who doesn't understand why he can't wrestle an ostrich, why he can't feel comfortable working around horses, why he can't be more like his dad and wrangle and rope Longhorn. And that was never my dream, for my son to have to follow my footsteps in my passions. I'm just happy that he was able to follow his dream of working with animals, any kind of animal. And so here my son found himself stepping into a brand new role of taking care of the exact same animals that we'd all loved for so long, the pig Trudies, the donkeys, the goats, be it the Ringos, the Cornholios, the Nates, all of those animals that you have loved and supported, and to watch so many people drop their support and say, I'm no longer going to support this channel because I don't approve of Ellie and Megan. And so I realized then that I don't know. But I make no apologies. If you thought that I was going to change my mind and say never mind, never mind, never mind, I take it back. So to this day, Ellie and Megan do all that they have to do with less than half the resources that Jamie and I were able to do it with, because so many people have backed out and changed their mind on supporting the sanctuary, being that it's now managed by Ellie and Megan. And so Ellie has, I guess, some of the things I'm the most proud of is his commitment to stopping all the stray dogs and to finding ways to prevent all of the loss of life from the strays. You all know that I'm a Survivor Sanctuary has been overrun with the neighborhood across the street and the stray dogs who live there. Then we have a family member who feeds those stray dogs. And so it has been a constant battle for Ellie and Megan to try to stay up at night and keep themselves awake, being vigilant and trying to stop all of the strays. And that means he's put up fencing and he's put up chicken wiring and he's put up cameras, and they stay awake all throughout the night, trying to keep their animals alive. And I love that about him. And it also breaks my heart that he takes so much heat and so much criticism. And then Ellie will even say himself, he goes, I'm not my dad, y'all. Lester Morrow is Lester Morrow. I hate that. I had my phone on block and someone still tried to call me, even though I'm not accepting calls. And it says not accepting calls, and they still tried to call me. That messed up the entire feed for Facebook, and I'm so sorry. But that's a typical Facebook issue. Ellie has taken on more than he was ready for, and he's done it with, and he's come out on with flying colors. I've never been more proud of him. There are things that he might do that are things that I wouldn't do, stacking buckets, leaving buckets out, some of my pet peeves, if you will. But seeing him thrive and see the animals healthy and seeing his pastures come back alive, seeing he and Megan get through their first summer, knowing how hard summers can be. They've gone through the drought. This is their first year of having to go through such an extreme drought. And for him not to have earned love and respect from people who say they love animals, yet it only counts if it's my animals or Jamie's animals. They can't seem to find the love and passion that Ellie has for life in general. And it's true. Ellie is a gentle soul, and he does love rabbits, and he does love goats, and he does love chickens, Megan, and he does love cats. And so what? He loves animals. He might not have an ostrich or a longhorn or a feisty Rita to run around kicking and biting, but he's a man, and he works, and he devotes 110% of his time and attention to his farm that I'm still very much part of. But now we're down to about a quarter of the funding that we used to, which is fine because we don't ask for money, but that money still has to come from somewhere. And so it comes out of our pockets, the money that we can generate from the advertisers. And that's fine. We're not going to get on here and beg and plead for crowdfunding the way so many other channels do. We're not going to put up links to PayPal or Cash App and say, give us your money. We need help. Give us your money. Help us. No, we're not going to do that. We're too prideful of a people for that. So, well, my friends, I think that I've kept you long enough. I got myself into the fields. That was probably the Jim Bean talking. That's the Jim Bean talking right there, y'all. Forgive me, but tomorrow is a very big day at the sanctuary with the alpacas and with the ram angel and for all that we have going on. We love you so very much. And I want to thank you all for being a part of this live and for putting up with me rambling on. Thank you for the wonderful questions. Does Ellie have a passport? Yeah. Why? What are you suggesting? What are we suggesting here? What does Ellie have a passport? That's like saying, does Hunter Biden have a passport? What are y'all trying to suggest? My son's going to up and leave the country? Is he running from something? Is he all? That can't be the way we end this live. Someone give me a better question. Someone give me a better question than does Ellie have a passport? Oh my gosh, y'all. I can't wait to see Annie and Ernie all shaved. I want to see Indy and Okie Dokie shaved. I want to see that little lamb, that ram angel shaved. All right. Hey, I do got to go, y'all. I've kept you over an hour. I'm going to be in so much more trouble with the Facebook and YouTube people now. Thank y'all for watching. Remember, we will not be going live tomorrow morning because we're going to be busy shearing them alpacas. All right. We love y'all. We blessed to have you. And we will catch you guys on the next video. Okay. All right. Thank you, YouTube, for being so kind to me, for being so loving and supporting, and not being like some of them peepats.